Hello and welcome to the daily English news program on Azərbaycan Televiziya with the most important events of the day. I'm your host, Cindy. Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán congratulated President Ilham Aliyev on the 30th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between Azerbaijan and Hungary. The congratulatory message expressed satisfaction with the sustainable development of relations between the two countries and the establishment of close strategic partnership based on mutual respect. The Prime Minister stressed that Hungary remains committed to deepening bilateral, political, economic, trade and cultural relations. Negotiations on the expansion of our energy cooperation and the participation of Hungarian companies in the reconstruction of Karabakh will be successful, Viktor Orbán added. President Ilham Aliyev also sent a congratulatory message to Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán. The congratulatory letter states that there are centuries-old traditions of friendship and cooperation between our peoples. Over the past decades, interstate relations have developed dynamically and comprehensively, reached the level of strategic partnership, and relations in political, economic, humanitarian and other fields have been expanded. Large-scale restoration and reconstruction work is being carried out in the liberated territories of Azerbaijan. We would be pleased to see the participation of Hungarian companies in this process, added the head of state in his letter. President Ilham Aliyev signed an executive order on awarding 43 employees of the Ministry of Emergency Situations and the Ministry of Internal Affairs who were distinguished while putting out the fire at Azersun Industrial Park in Haji Zain Al Abidin settlement of Sumgait. According to the executive order, 19 people have been conferred with the medals for bravery, 4 people with the medals for military service, and 20 people with the medals of the third degree for distinguished service in the emergency situations. President Ilham Aliyev signed an executive order on the measures in respect to the landscaping, reconstruction and construction work in the territory of Central Botanical Garden. According to the executive order, 25 million monats was initially allocated from the state budget of the Republic of Azerbaijan for 2022 to the Baku City Executive Power for the implementation of landscaping, reconstruction and construction works in the Central Botanical Garden. Zengilan, which is part of the Kəlbəcər-Laçın economic region, has a favorable potential from an economic and geographical point of view. Unfortunately, during the period of Armenian occupation, Zengilan, like our other districts, was subjected to ecological terror and vandalism. In 2020, our victorious army put an end to the history of occupation of Zengilan. Our ancestral land regained its freedom, returned to its true owners. In Zengilan, as well as on other lands destroyed by the Armenians during the occupation, restoration and construction work began.
Every day inscribed in the history of the victory is immortalized in the memory of the people. From this point of view, October 20th, 2020, the date of the liberation of Zengilan from the occupation, is an unforgettable page in the chronicle of our historical victory. There is no doubt that the liberation of the Zengilan district, as well as our other territories from the occupation, is of great political and economic importance, because Zengilan has a favorable potential from an economic and geographical point of view. We envisage Zengilan as an international transport and logistical center in the future. The location of the district, its proximity to international markets and other factors will contribute to that. The establishment in Zengilan of the second airport in the liberated lands after Füzuli, of course, is based on the geographical situation, and it will be an important tool in addressing our economic, transport and security issues. For almost 30 years, the environment, biodiversity, forests, underground and overground natural resources in the occupied territories of Azerbaijan have suffered great damage. Zengilan is one of the areas subjected to ecological terror, the territory of which was deliberately turned into ruins. Rare eastern plane trees, which grew in the area around the Basichay State Natural Reserve, were under its protection. Here too, traces of the ecological terror committed by the vicious enemy are clearly visible. The river was polluted with waste from pig farms in the mountainous villages of Armenia, as well as with heavy metals and household waste. Plane trees and walnut trees, which dominated the forest belt, were brutally cut down and taken to foreign countries and Armenia. Armenia also caused tremendous damage to the ecology of the occupied territories during the years of occupation, and I have voiced those figures. 50 to 60,000 hectares of forest have been completely destroyed. We observed this via satellite. A process of deliberate deforestation was underway, especially in Kəlbəcər-Laçın, Zengilan and Qubadlı districts. This, in fact, is savagery and looting. Today in Zengilan, as well as in other territories liberated from the occupation, work is underway to restore and build. The Great Return program is being rapidly implemented in the region. The first to be restored are the first, second and third Ağalı villages. They're being rebuilt as part of the Smart Village pilot project. As you know, the first pilot project is being implemented in the village of Ağalı of Zəngilan district. Ağalı village is actually being reconstructed. It will be a large and comfortable village. Every citizen of Azerbaijan and in general every person can see our plans in the example of Ağalı village. Zəngilan district plays a special role in the transformation of Qarabağ into a green zone. Another factor that will contribute to the economic development of Zəngilan will be the use of the Zəngəzur corridor, new transport lines which will turn the area into a logistic hub for the region.
Rocket and artillery units of the land forces conducted live-fire tactical exercises. According to the Defense Ministry, rocket and artillery units deployed to the assembly areas took firing positions in the designated sites. During the exercises held in close to real combat conditions, these imaginary enemy targets were destroyed by the accurate fire of the units. The main purpose of the exercises is to improve the modern combat capability of rocket and artillery unit commanders, as well as to increase professionalism in the combat skills of personnel, taking into account the experience gained in the patriotic war. First International Culinary Festival kicked off in Shusha. This festival, which along with Azerbaijan is attended by over 400 representatives from Turkey, Georgia, China and Japan and other countries, presents dishes of national and world cuisine. Additionally, live performances of cooks from districts of Azerbaijan and various countries, various national dishes, entertainment programs, exhibitions, masterclasses by local and foreign chefs will be demonstrated. The festival will end on May 8th. The annual report of the National Coordinator for Combating Trafficking in Human Beings was discussed within the next plenary meeting of the spring session of the Milli Meclis. It was stated that in 2021, 95 people were identified as victims of human trafficking. 13 people were prosecuted for human trafficking last year. The draft law on food safety, amendments to the law on the cultural capital of Azerbaijan, Shusha, on labor pensions and on social benefits were also in the agenda. That was all for today. Thank you for being with us and see you next time.